It is KFM 95.9, the home of the Afropolitan. It's just got 41 minutes after 7 o'clock. I don't know who tells the time like that, but I just did. We are chilling in the studio with K.O. He decided to come through and pay us a visit. His new album dropped at midnight. You know the lead up to the dropping of your album, ne?
Yeah.
You have a fantastic hype team. Like, I felt like there was FOMO for me being asleep at that time when it was actually made available this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, I don't really have a hype team per se, but I give all the credit to the people that support me.
Yeah.
You know, I think we probably, obviously, you know, set a great trajectory for ourselves early in the year with Super Duper. And people just saw the energy, you know, that I was putting across, a revitalized version of myself, re-energized and more focused, and an artist and a personality that showed more character, you know. So I think even all the way into Say Well, and you know, people just like appreciated the dynamics of what I had to offer, you know, to the game in 2019. So as a result of that, I think, and God obviously being on my side, and all the hard work that we've put in, it's playing out the way that it is.
Do you actually remember a time where you started thinking to yourself, hip hop? I'm just trying to imagine, like, the first hip hop album that you ever bought. I mean, who was influencing you in this particular direction? Because I'm just assuming that you started going in the hip hop direction. Meanwhile, you could have been listening to Mbaqanga and then, you know,
or maybe you're the one who founded Amapiano. We don't know.
We don't know.
Nah, I don't want to take credit for anything. I'd say I probably got acquainted with hip-hop music through my older brother, who back in the day was a breakdancer. You know, I never understood what hip-hop was, because, I mean, at the time, you know, Akaya, they would play a lot of, you know, the Brenda Fassie, growing up, and into Baker, you know, that's what I was acquainted to as a kid. And then suddenly this guy, you know, comes out and he's playing Snoop Dogg and all these guys, and I'm like, okay, so this sounds actually interesting. Plus, I mean, he was like my role model. So I was just fascinated by how these guys are speaking over beats, but yet it makes such musical sense, you know. So I started delving into it and like really taking it seriously until like I'd say towards the end of my high school. That's when I started actually writing my own stuff. I started off by, like, you know, writing other people's, and like other people's verses, and just like mimicking that. The first CD I bought, there's a group called Gangstar. It's Guru, who's now you know, passed on, and DJ Premier. They're from New York. So like I started getting acquainted with just like, you know, that type of hip hop, you know, and then a couple years later I became a huge Tupac fan, and and then I wasn't really into like mainstream hip hop until Jay-Z showed us how to, you know what I mean, to be fly and stuff, you know. So like I started studying that, like, you know, pretty close. And as, you know, the game evolved, when I decided to take music really seriously, when it comes back to South Africa, for instance, the first person that just made me, because this entire time I was rapping in English. You know, I was like a little American wannabe. And stuff.
Boom,
like,
rap.
Yeah, you know. So the first person that like really switched on my vernac was R.I.P. Pro Kid. You know, that's the guy that I literally molded myself around, you know, in terms of like sharpening my penmanship and everything like that. And then obviously Squatter Camp, they taught me how to make hit songs.
Yes.
So, you know, it was a combination of those things, and also R.I.P. Jabba, you know, and Proverb. Also, you know, who I know is part of this family.
Yes,
One
yes,
of
yes.
ours,
One of ours,
yes.
You know, these are all the people that molded me to become the person that I became. So I have all these different shades of all these different artists, and just learning the industry. And also, like now, after Tear Gas, when I started working on my first album, Skhumba Republic, I turned my back on SA hip hop completely. Not to say I turned my back on it, but like in a negative way. But like I literally just like tunnel visioned into Kwaito music.
I get you. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to understand what made these guys so great, you know, and why because after all these years, even with the success of Tear Gas, you know, the highest we went as far as like a successful album was like gold. And Tear Gas was...
It was huge. It was massive,
you know? But like, I never understood why the Zege Zeges and the Brown Dashes, rest in peace, were doing like multi-platinum, you know, you know, all those guys. So I'm like, I wanted to find out. I wanted to understand the formula that they were using. So when we made Kara Kara, I was literally fresh out of school, so to speak, of just me studying that whole
school,
you know what I mean, how they did their thing. And when I was working on my album, I had the backdrop of Ikwaito the entire time, and that's how the album came across, you know. And as a result, because of just like that conscious decision, it allowed for me to resonate a lot more. And that whole trend started, you know, permeating down to the other artists as well. You saw how now suddenly, you know, there was this little skanda over there, you know, and you know, it played out the way that it did. And it only requires for us to just like really take our craft seriously, and also being fully aware of where we come from as a people, because we need to package that very same feeling and sell it to our people, because that's how they will support us to the fullest. So,
You know, speaking of